And we are live. We are live with my first live stream. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so we're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah, so all right. For all those who are able to join, thank
with
you.
my first live stream.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so we're doing it. We're doing it.
Let me do
Yeah,
some
so
adjustments here.
all right. For all those who are able to join, thank
Thank
you.
you.
First live stream.
Try
Thank
to
you
do
for
this
stopping by. Yeah,
live
here we
stream.
go.
Wait a minute.
Let me do some adjustments.
Hold on.
All right.
Let me do a couple of things. Okay, here we go. Doing this live stream first so that way I could build on it, get the knowledge out. But I want to pick an easy topic. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. Don't have no special guests today. This is my first live stream, seeing how this works out and stuff. But anyway, as the title says, PSVR wins best hardware. I thought it was a catchy little topic, but ultimately this live stream is just really talking about the E3 Game Critics Award. So as many people know, many gamers who've been paying attention for a while now. Every at the end of every E3, various figureheads, maybe is the best word I could use, of the gaming industry get together. You know, publicists, journalists, developers, and they're all part of this what's called game critics, and they judge on the best products on various categories. All right, now keep in mind this is specifically stuff that's been presented at E3. You know, so for example, if a game wasn't shown at E3, then it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't take part of it, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? This is specifically just the E3 segment and stuff that was shown at E3. Right? So article came out um showing what the game critics uh nominated as the best stuff. And there's various categories and there's various stuff and all that stuff. Um but I think I just wanna shoot out probably the one that's gonna probably be the most controversial, I think. And I think it's gonna be the best hardware. I think it's going to be a controversial topic for many gamers. I'll give you my opinion on it, but I just want to push out that the award for best hardware peripheral at E3 was the PlayStation VR, and this is what the game critics chosen. Given the fact that Microsoft announced the Xbox One S, very great looking product, great price, Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray player, HDR gaming and stuff, and apparently now it might even be able to upres to 4K supposedly and stuff like that. Um, so for that to go head to head with the PSVR and the PSVR ends up the winner, that's going to bring some controversy to many gamers. I mean, is it going to bring up is this going to be another example of media bias? That's one thing that's among the Xbox community, how they're discussing things from a perspective of that a very anti-Microsoft sentiment among the media, as according to them, and this could be used as another case. So that's pretty interesting. My view on it, and I'm not here to discuss whether the Xbox community is right or wrong on that. That's their opinion, that's their perception, and they have the right to that opinion perception. Um, Me being the outside looking in, if I were to make the assumption on why the PSVR won over the Xbox One S, it's simply because it's a new product and not an improvement of something that's already out. Because that's really what the Xbox One S really is. That's really what slim models are. Same thing like when the PS3 Slim comes out and when eventually Sony releases the PS4 Slim. It's not really a new product in the sense that it's something um in terms of experience, you're getting something new. It's more of you're getting the same product, maybe with some improved features, kind of like with the 4K Blu-ray player for the Xbox One S. But in essence, it's still an Xbox. While the PSVR is a new experience. Now I can't judge whether it's a good or bad experience. Me personally, when it comes to PSVR, I'm not getting it day one, simply because of my past experience of how I saw add-on peripherals in gaming. I have yet to see a successful add-on peripheral that stood the test of time. Whether you want to talk about the Sega CD or the Sega 32X or the PlayStation Move controllers or the Wii U board, the Wii Fit board. Um, Xbox, the Xbox 360 and Xbox One Connect. Consistent peripherals that are afterthoughts, and in the end, they don't stand the test of time. I mean, even when you think about it, even Zapper guns, like when Nintendo had the Zapper gun and Sega Master System had the Zapper gun for like Duck and all that stuff. Even those things didn't even stand the test of time. And our peripherals rarely stand the test of time. So I'm skeptical about the PSVR simply because of that. I have yet to see, you know, a peripheral that comes after the fact end up being like a mainstream peripheral that everybody enjoys and gets consistent support. So I really don't want to plop $399 this October, and then a year or two it just dies out. That's just not me. If PSVR ends up being successful, then believe me, if PSVR is a success, that means I'll be able to purchase it in 2 years from now and have and enjoy a library of games at a cheaper price, at a markdown price of the PSVR, right? So there's nothing wrong with me waiting because if it's a success, it'll be around 2, 3, 4 years from now. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a success, I save myself $399. But anyway, so that's just my thing on the PSVR. But back to the conversation at hand, and I see I got two viewers on board. Hey, welcome aboard. Hey, you're my first two viewers on here. So I feel kind of special right now. So, just trying out. But anyway, welcome aboard. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Um, PSVR one best hardware, and I could say it's because it's providing a different experience that the Xbox One S is not providing this experience. It's still an Xbox console. You know what I'm saying? Improved, better design, has a few new features. HDR gaming. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a totally new experience. Well, I think the PSVR is providing a new experience specifically at E3. So I could see why that got best hardware. Now the thing most of us won't be able to appreciate about PSVR, looking from the outside in like ourselves, we really can't see what the big deal unless you're one of those that actually tried it. We can't really see from a feed or from a stream. We just can't. We don't see the big deal and stuff like that. So it's a little bit harder for us to ingest as compared to something like the Xbox One is, which is pretty easy to understand and pretty much to get. So I could see this going to be a little bit controversial among the gamers on stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting seeing the next couple of days when more and more gamers start seeing this list of game critics award winners, and you got PSVR as the winner. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see some of the pro Xbox channels like BGST, what you call it, Crossfire podcast from Mooch. It's going to be really interesting, especially like Crap Gamer and stuff. They love to go to the extreme. They love controversy. They love to pull in. They love to troll. They know how to attract viewers and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how far out they're going to go with this topic and stuff. But that's just one of the things. The next thing to talk about, I'll throw in Zelda one game of the show, best of show, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Um, yeah, looking back, I'm not really surprised it won, and not so much that I'm gonna say, media's always been partial to Nintendo when it comes to Zelda, but generally Zeldas have been great games. They've been great design, stuff like that. And as bad as we talk about Nintendo and stuff, they do when they do shine on a game, they really make great gameplay. And when I saw the Zelda Breath of the Wild trailer, I was impressed. I was like, holy shit, that game does look great. All the gameplay advancements that they're putting into it, it just looked really good. I know some people have their complaints in terms of, there's no voice acting, but not every game with voice acting is a great game. That's just how it is. Would we like to see Nintendo just step up the game and start getting into motion capturing and stuff like that? Yeah, of course. But what what they do create, if it does have amazing gameplay and it's an all around solid game, then it is what it is. It justifies itself. And I gotta admit, Zelda Breath of the Wild did look great for an open world game. It looked really good, so I'm not surprised it won game of the show. So this is the Nintendo we need to see. We're more pushing them pushing out more IPs and stuff. So I wish them the best with this NX. I hope they change the game. They change the attitude about certain things because I think it's overall better for the industry. My views as far as console industry goes, I always see it as very fragile. We only have three console makers. We have Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. You look at every other industry; they have multiple manufacturers. Even like kids tablets, just not even tablets as a whole, just simply kids tablets, there are more manufacturers that makes kid tablets than we have manufacturers that make consoles. So if a company like, let's say, Nintendo goes away, that's 33% of our console manufacturing industry. If Microsoft goes away, that's 33% of our console industry. So I don't want to see any of these console manufacturers, fail or anything. Uh, Not everyone's going to be number one, but as long as you're successful within the generation, that's good for the industry. That's good for third party developers. That takes the pressure of third party developers and publishers having to make big blockbuster titles that have to sell 3-4 million. And if it doesn't, then they're not going to greenlight the project. If you could create an environment where there's a lot more gamers to buy these on third party titles, that lessens the pressure. It allows publishers to take more risk on creative ideas and stuff like that. So anyway, but that's my thing. So good on Zelda. And then just to run down the list to give you guys an idea of what was best of show. So best of show, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Best original game, Horizon Zero Dawn. That's pretty good. I'm really happy. We'll talk about that for a minute. I'm really happy that Sony allowed Gorilla to attempt to make an RPG. If people aren't aware about Horizon Zero Dawn, it's not just a third-person shooter. It is a full-fledged RPG. And that's kind of crazy because think about it. So you got Gorilla, right? They make first-person shooter, which is Killzone, Killzone, Killzone. How do you approach Sony as a publisher, or how does any developer that's historically just a first-person shooter-based, developer, that's what they were built as, approach your publisher and be like, hey, we want to make an RPG. How does that resonate? How does that conversation take place in the boardroom? How do you pitch that? How do you go from a first-person shooter guy to now making a full-blown RPG? Whatever Guerrilla did, they did it. They sold on Sony. Sony greenlighted it. It's obvious they gave them a huge budget because the game looks beautiful. It looks really beautiful, and they tried to stay away from any type of shooting mechanics. As you notice, she uses a bow and arrow. If you haven't seen the trailer, go see the trailer for Horizon. But last year, when this game was first introduced, Guerrilla had a closed door session on why there's going to be no guns in this game. And what they did was they made a demo of last year's where you face that Tyrannosaurus Rex. They had a closed door demo, and instead of the female character we have now, they put a Killzone character, one of the Killzone leads in there, and he had a machine gun and whatever. And when they played it, the character absolutely dominated the dinosaur. So Guerrilla tried to demonstrate that using guns really cheapened the gameplay. So they want to stick to more prehistoric type weapons like bows and arrows and spears and stuff like that to really make the game complex and stuff. So this game is not going to have guns, bullets, machine guns, like that. It's futuristic, but at the same time, it's prehistoric and primitive in terms of fighting, which is pretty cool. So I'm glad that Sony allowed, or brought on the idea for Guerrilla to make this RPG. I hope this game is very successful. I hope it's very good, obviously. And if it's very good, I hope the community supports it because this lets the publisher know we will support developers that go outside their comfort zone. You don't always have to make a first-person shooter. Let them make an RPG. Let them make an action game. You understand? Let them show the creativity. I'm pretty sure a lot of these developers have great ideas in other areas, which will be a win for the gamer. So Horizon Zero Dawn winning Best Original Game, that's a great start. And game's supposed to come out next year in February, so I'm looking forward to that. Legend of Zelda, but category Best Console Game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So again, that game is just stealing the show on that one. Best VR game, Batman Arkham VR. So I read a little about a preview. I'm still looking forward to see some trailers. But apparently you're playing Batman from a first-person view perspective, according to like a written preview. So one of the journalists played it and stuff, and all the things you do in the game is from a first-person perspective. So this isn't like a little 15-minute cash-in. This is actually a game built from the ground up for VR, and I think it's actually a PlayStation 4 exclusive, a PlayStation VR exclusive. Considering this is made by Rocksteady and Warner Brothers, I'm kind of impressed that Warner Brothers will sign on to make an exclusive for PlayStation VR and not have it on Oculus or the Vive. Maybe it's a timed exclusive. That could I think that's more timed exclusive if I were to put my money on it, because I just can't see them. I'm keeping it away from Warner Brothers and Vive. But for now, it's pretty impressive. And then they have a top tier studio doing it, which is Rocksteady, which is pretty impressive. So you know, there's going to be a good quality um, Batman game. You know, regardless how you feel about PlayStation VR, at least they're putting a top tier developer behind it, and that's what's going to take for PSVR to be successful. You need top tier developers to support it, and not these little crappy um, cash grabbings and robo ping pong stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in December, PlayStation had their little live event and they showed PSVR games and they look terrible. It's just I got a next generation console. If you're gonna pay $399, it was terrible games. But what they showed at E3 was a lot more impressive. So we'll see how that goes. For the PC gamers, Civilization 6 won best PC game. Civilization's a strategy game, so it's always been popular. I wouldn't mind it coming to consoles. Probably one of the few games exclusive PCs I like. But that looked impressive. Again, I run over the hardware PSVR. Best action game, Battlefield One. That's been resonating among the gaming community. So I think that's going to be real huge. The question is it going to be huge enough to take over Call of Duty? Every time a Battlefield game comes out, everybody says this is it. This is the game. This is the game that's going to surpass Call of Duty. I don't think it's going to surpass Call of Duty in terms of sales and users purchasing the game. It's just that Call of Duty is just so easy to get into. It's very casual, you know what I'm saying? And you just can't beat that. Battlefield is a great franchise, great game, but it's just not as casual. And I know a lot of people are saying that they use the moniker casual as a bad thing or whatever. And I'm not saying they need to make Battlefield 1 casual or anything. I'm not saying that. Leave Battlefield the way it is. But just have to understand Call of Duty is a very easy game to get into. You're not going to beat that. Battlefield's not going to surpass in sales and adoption of Call of Duty. It's just, you know, Call of Duty is just that easy to get into. Not saying that Battlefield's doing anything wrong because it does amazing with its numbers. You just have to take the world for what it is. Don't worry about Battlefield surpassing Call of Duty. Just worry about Battlefield being a great game with great multiplayer. That's all that matters. And that it remains popular for what it does. And it has a huge following, so it doesn't have to have a Call of Duty because Battlefield is still one of the bigger games out there. So it just be all right. Looking forward to that. Best action adventure game, Legend of Zelda. Again, wow, that game's taking over. Best role playing game, Final Fantasy 15. Looking forward to that. Best racing game, Forza Horizon 3. That looked great on stage. If you saw the the multiplayer base when they did a live stage on E3 Microsoft, it's out in Australia, so that looked good. I'm sure Xbox gamers are gonna be excited about that. Best fighting game, Injustice 2. That did look great, so looking forward to that. This one's different. Best sports game, Steep. I don't know really anything about that, so I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that is. Best family game. I didn't even realize that was a category, but Skylanders Imaginators won that. Best online multiplayer, Titanfall 2, which is weird because doesn't isn't Battlefield the main thing about Battlefield is its multiplayer? So man, so even though they're both EA games, it's pretty interesting. EA is coming out with the big gun. So best online multiplayer, Titanfall 2. That's pretty good. Best independent game, Inside. And it's a game that Inside is an independent game that just got released recently and got a 90 or higher Metacritic rating. The Xbox community is definitely enjoying that game. I hear lots of talk about it. They're enjoying it. Good game. Um, right now it's for PC and Xbox One. Not sure if it's going to come out for PS4. It's made by the creators of Limbo. Limbo ended up on PlayStation, so it might end up on the PlayStation 4 platform, but they got that one right. And the final category, special commendation for graphics, and that is God of War. Ooh, yeah, we also God of War. The graphics look beautiful. It looked great and stuff. So yeah, so I think that's it. That's the complete list. They also have a little breakdown of statistics. It says winner breakdown by number of wins. Legend of Zelda won three categories. Civilization 6 got won two categories. Breakdown by publisher. Um, you got publisher breakdown by publisher. Um, You got 3 wins Nintendo, won 3 categories. Sony Interactive got. I apologize, not my niece. You got Sony Interactive, won 3 categories. Take Two, won 2 categories. Electronic Arts won 2 categories. Warner Bros. Won 2 categories. Um, and then it also has a stat breakdown by platform. PlayStation 4 won 10 categories. PC won 8 categories. Xbox One won 8 categories, and Wii U won 4 categories. So these little statistics. I'll add that to my description box. The link to where it shows all the winners if you want to take a look at it and stuff. But anyway, hey, thanks for stopping by. This is my first live stream, and it's a good test run. Stay tuned for future growth. What I'm trying to do is start a podcast, a weekly podcast, maybe bi-weekly. Depends on how intense and how complex my podcast is, but I want to call it 60 frames no lag podcast. And it's going to be beyond just the normal reporting the news and stuff. Of course, I would like to try to get guests. I want to talk about certain topics that's not trendy or common or something that you see at the News for Gamer website. Something out of the box, and but yet it's happening in our industry, and just certain things that is going on within our gaming community, yet no one's talking about it, or you don't hear much about it. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. One example that I want to address is the harassment of female gamers among the gaming community. So, trying to put together that topic, and hopefully I could get some popular female gamers and stuff, and then get some non-YouTube female gamers. Because I have some female friends that game, and they're not YouTubers or anything. And like during party chats or whatever, we play games. They tell me all the crap they go through. So I want to talk about that topic. Also want to talk about one other topic is I don't want to use the word threat, but the threat of mobile gaming is becoming popular, and many of our console developers are crossing over to mobile gaming, developing for mobile games. So some good developers that were once making games for consoles are now crossing over making games for mobile because it's becoming a bigger industry. So is there a threat of losing top talent console games for mobile? That's another topic I want to talk about. No one's talking about that. No one's even afraid to talk about that. No one's even afraid of thought. So anyway, so that's some of the things that's coming in the future. Thanks for stopping by. For the few viewers that were here, but hopefully this will grow and stuff. Anyway, so this is what I'm gonna leave off. To the one viewer that's left, hey, thanks for sticking around. Hopefully this will get bigger and better. But anyway, I appreciate it. You take care. To the most passionate community out there, keep it gaming. Thanks for the love, and have a good one.